Hey cruise fans, and welcome to my channel Cruise with Grant, where we talk about all things Norwegian Cruise Lines. If you've watched my channel before, you'll know I'm all about the food, and today's going to be another food review where I'm going to tell you all of the lunchtime, dinner, and late night snacks that you can expect at NCL's 24/7 bar and grill called The Local or Oceans. So stick around and I'll guide you through all of the things you can't miss and some of the things you may want to skip. So without further ado, let's get into it. For those of you who may be new to NCL, Oceans Bar and Grill and The Local is their 24/7 restaurant where you can always stop by for a casual bite. I've made a previous video that walks you through all of the breakfast items on the Oceans menu, so please don't forget to check that video out and I'll link it in the description below. Today's video is going to focus on the delicious eats that are available for the lunch, dinner, and late night menu. Now it's important to note that breakfast is served at Oceans until 11 o'clock in the morning. After that, there'll be about 30 minutes where they're going to shut down to switch over and prepare for lunch. Starting at 11:30, you should be able to get all of the same delicious items on the menu until about 10:30 at night. Now, it's important to know that the late night menu is a smaller version of the regular Oceans or The Local menu, so some of the items that you may be looking for lunch and dinner won't be on that late night menu. It's going to be a smaller menu, and I will run through some of the differences. So let's get right to it, and I'm going to start walking you through my favorite things on the lunch and dinner menu at Oceans. The menu is broken down into 4 main sections: appetizers, handhelds, favorites, and of course, desserts. I'm going to go through each section of the menu one at a time and tell you my favorite things that you definitely can't miss and some of the things that you may want to skip. Let's start off with the appetizer section of the menu, and spoiler alert, this is one of my favorite sections of the menu. You really can't go wrong with many of the choices that you'll find here. If you're looking for some lighter fare, they do offer a couple of different salads, including a Caesar salad that offers everything that you'd want from this classic, as well as a Cobb salad that includes bacon, eggs, ham, and a number of different vegetables. You can choose if you want to have dressing with this, and they've got a number of different options, including blue cheese, Thousand Island, and a great balsamic vinaigrette. If you're in the mood for finger foods or a plate of food that you can share with a couple of friends, there are a couple of classic go-tos on this menu. The first one is the spinach and artichoke dip. It comes with some nachos and has a really cheesy, creamy, rich texture. So if you're looking for something a little bit more indulgent, that might be a good option for yourself or to share. They also offer a classic nachos that comes with chili con carne, jalapenos, cheese sauce, and of course you can get salsa and sour cream on the side. Also, quite a big portion, so great if you're a little bit hungry or if you're wanting to share with a group of people. So let's get to some of my favorite things on the appetizer menu. And you really can't talk about Oceans or The Local without talking about chicken wings. Now, NCL has recently made a change to the way they prepare their chicken wings. They used to be deep fried and breaded, and they now switched over to a slightly healthier baked option. When you order the chicken wings, you'll get 6 wings along with some carrot sticks and celery, and you'll be able to choose the sauce that you'd like them prepared in, including buffalo, smoky barbecue, or a new sweet Korean chili. My other favorite go-to is pretzel bites. This comes with a half a dozen small little pretzel buns along with a beer and cheese dip, and you can either enjoy the pretzels on their own or you can dip it into that delicious sauce, again, if you're looking for something a little bit cheesy and indulgent. Now let's get to the things on the menu that I think you may want to consider skipping, starting off with the beef chili. Chili is something that you can find in a lot of different places, and I've eaten quite a bit of chili in my life. In general, I like chili that's a little bit thicker, along with a nice crusty roll, and the one that NCL offers is a little bit watery for my taste, so if you like a thicker chili, this may be something that you'd consider skipping. The other option that's been a recent addition to the Oceans and The Local appetizer menu is sausage sliders. Now, they're okay, but it kind of feels to me like a sausage that's been cut open, put on a bun with some mustard. There's nothing really fancy or special, and considering they have a number of great hot hot dog options, this doesn't particularly stand out as something that I'd want to have. Let's move on to handhelds. And this section of the menu can generally be broken down into 3 big buckets: burgers, sandwiches, and hot dogs. And again, a bit of a spoiler, this is a pretty strong section of the menu, so there's lots of things that I like, but a few things that I prefer more than others. In terms of sandwiches, my favorite sandwich on the menu is far and above the chicken salad sandwich. That sounds really simple, but they have this delicious chicken salad with bacon if you prefer it, put on this absolutely beautifully butter toasted bread, and it comes with French fries and pickles. I think it's absolutely perfectly done. Oftentimes I'll skip the bacon on this one, and it's still more than enough to really hit the spot when I'm hungry and looking for something that's fresh and also really delicious. My second favorite thing on the menu is the fish sandwich. This comes on a brioche style bun with some deep fried fish and a beautiful tartar sauce and coleslaw. While it's a little bit more indulgent because it's big and deep fried, it really is a good mix of that freshness from the coleslaw and the tartar sauce to cut through some of the heavierness that you get from the fish. My least favorite sandwich on the menu is the Reuben sandwich. The things that bug me about this particular choice is that while in the past I found that there was a lot of corned beef in the sandwich, it seems to have gotten less and less over the years. I'm not sure if this is related to some of the cutbacks at NCL. And the other thing that bugs me is that rather than just having cheese and some sauerkraut, they actually have what they call Russian dressing. It sort of tastes like a Thousand Island dressing that's actually really wet. So I find when you're picking up this sandwich, it feels really drippy and it's not as easy to eat. So if you were going to choose a sandwich, this is the one that I would skip in favor of either the fish sandwich or the chicken salad. Now let's talk hamburgers. And on the menu, you're gonna find 3 different and pretty delicious hamburgers that you can choose from. The first one is a classic cheeseburger, which comes with a sesame toasted bun, along with some lettuce, onions, American sliced cheese, and you can add some pickles on there if you're interested. Very difficult to go wrong with this classic cheeseburger that comes with some French fries. Now, my favorite burger on the menu is the blue cheeseburger, and this may be a point of personal preference. 'Cause yeah, I like myself some smelly cheese. The blue cheeseburger comes with a lot of the same toppings as the cheeseburger, lettuce, tomato, and onions, but obviously has a delightful layer of blue cheese, as well as a sweet, spicy tomato chutney. So to me, it's the perfect balance. You've got the sharpness of the cheese balanced out by some of that sweetness in the chutney. It's really, I think, the top pick for me on the hamburger part of the menu. My least favorite burger on the menu is the barbecue burger. And while this comes with all of the same toppings that I mentioned previously, it also comes with some fried onions, jalapenos, a layer of barbecue sauce, and some smoky bacon. And again, this might be a point of personal preference, but the reason that this isn't my favorite is because I just find that the barbecue sauce is very sweet and a little bit overwhelming. I like my burgers to be a bit more on the savory side, so this just really isn't my cup of tea. Now, if you're like me and you're looking for a vegetarian option, I did find out on my last cruise that they actually have a veggie burger that's not on the menu, so you'll have to ask your server for it. It comes with all of the same toppings as the other burger selections, including a slice of American cheese. So if you're not looking to have any dairy, that's something that you can ask to be removed. I maybe had one too many vegetarian burgers. This became my 11 o'clock snack when I wasn't sure what I wanted, but I just wanted a little something before bed. On my last cruise, I was sitting next to some lovely folks who were asking their server about whether or not the veggie burger was a vegan option. They found out that the burgers are actually prepared off board of the ship and then cooked on board, so they couldn't guarantee that it would be a good option for somebody who was looking to go vegan. I thought that would be a helpful thing to pass along if people are looking for more information about vegetarian and vegan options on board. Last but not least, rounding out the handheld section of the menu are a couple of different hot dog selections, depending on what you're feeling for. The first option is the pub hot dog, and that comes with sauerkraut, bacon bits, and is accompanied with a side of French fries. The other option is the Coney Island hot dog, which comes slathered in a melted cheese sauce with some chili and also some fried onions, and again with French fries. So depending on what you're after, there's 2 very different selections that may hit the spot. Of course, if you're looking for something a little bit more plain, you can always order just a plain hot dog and add your own toppings like mustard, ketchup, or mayonnaise. Rounding out the savory selections on the lunch and dinner menu is a section that they call classics. And it's actually one of the recent additions that's my favorite thing on the menu, and this is called lechon asado. This dish, served with rice, black beans, and plantains, has this wonderful roasted pork with onions as the star of the dish. And I really enjoyed the pork because it was really well cooked and very, very moist, and the black beans and rice together not only have a beautiful flavor, but were also really filling. The one criticism I would have about this dish is the plantains, and they are a tough thing to get right because if you have plantains and they're not quite ripe enough, they taste really like hard and flavorless rather than getting that beautiful sweetness that you would expect. I'm hoping that this is one of the things that they improve about the dish as they get more familiar with how to prepare this on board. In terms of the last two dishes that are part of the classic section, I think they're both okay. My next choice would be the classic fish and chips. And if you've tried the fish sandwich, I think it's the exact same breaded fish that they use for the sandwich and for this dish. So if you like that, it's probably going to be a home run. This comes with some delicious tartar sauce and is also served with some French fries. Now the last choice on the menu is also an okay one if you're looking for a pasta option, and it's the fettuccine carbonara. It comes with a thick, rich carbonara sauce, some green peas, as well as some thick cut pancetta or bacon. Now don't get me wrong, the carbonara is delicious. I find it a little bit heavy for me, so it's not the choice that I gravitate to. And I also find if you don't eat it right away, the sauce gets kind of thick and clumpy. Okay, we finally made it to what my waiters on board often call the best part of the meal: dessert. And you'll find that Oceans and the Local have 3 main desserts as part of their core offering. Now my favorite in this section is an absolute no-brainer because they have one of my favorite desserts on board, and that's carrot cake. If you're looking for a huge slice of carrot cake with some delicious cream cheese frosting, this is going to be right up your alley. I've had the carrot cake on board a number of different ships and it's always been consistently good and really moist, so this is a no-brainer for me in terms of something that I want to finish out my meal or have as maybe a sweet snack late at night. My next choice on the menu is going to be the brownie raspberry swirl cheesecake. Again, you can't really go wrong with a good slice of cheesecake. This one's got a bit of a twist because it's got both fruit and some chocolate, but I don't find the balance too overpowering. So this is a great option if you're looking for something that's sweet, but not too sweet. The last item on offer is apple pie, and this might throw you for a little bit of a loop because this isn't a traditional apple pie. Normally you might be expecting that there's a crust on top and crust on bottom. This one has a very thin layer of crust on top, but is primarily a big rectangular cake that's packed full of apple. It's also served with ice cream. So while I like the apple pie, it just may be a bit surprising and not what people expect. So this is something to be aware of if you're looking to order this one at dessert. Now, as I was preparing for this video, one of the things that I noticed that was different on the NCL website versus what I saw on my recent cruise on the Norwegian Breakaway was that there was an additional option on the menu for dessert. They included a hot fudge sundae on the sample menus that they have for Norwegian Prima. Now, when I was on the Breakaway, I did notice at the Oceans there that they did have paid options for some fancy sundaes and milkshakes. So I'm guessing that the difference is likely because they didn't want to have a complimentary sundae option if they were trying to sell people some of these desserts at an upcharge price. As I mentioned at the start of the video, there's a lot of similarity between the lunch and dinner menu and the late night menu that's available at Oceans or the Local. Now, they usually change over the menu sometime between 10 and 10:30, depending on when they're changing over the kitchen. And after that time, you'll find very similar options, but just fewer of them. The big changes to the appetizer section is that you won't be able to get the spinach and artichoke dip or those sliders that I mentioned earlier. The handheld section, you're going to see that there's only one option for a hamburger. You'll have a cheeseburger and you'll have the pub hot dog, so the Coney Island hot dog is no longer available. The classic section goes away entirely, and so you'll just have to skip to desserts and eat a few more of those if you're still hungry. So now that you've had a rundown of the whole menu, are you hungry? And what's your favorite option on the menu? Please let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to check out the other helpful videos that I've made reviewing food and drink options on Norwegian Cruise Lines. If you found the video helpful, please remember to give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. It really does help me out and motivates me to keep making more videos for our cruise community. Thanks so much for watching today. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Have a beautiful day. Bye.